Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video, we will create navigation drawer and bottom navigation together. It's easy to create both of them separately, but it's kind of tricky to create them together. I have already created a video on it previously, but it was in Java, so this time we will cover it in Kotlin. Here is a quick little preview. This is how bottom navigation will look, and this is how navigation drawer will look. You can switch from one fragment to another fragment. Also, you can click on the middle floating action button. It will throw a toast. Then when you click on navigation drawer item, it will open the respective fragment. For the remaining items, I have put a toast on it. So this is what we are going to create in this video. The code and logic is quite simple. So let's create it. Choose empty views activity, then click on next. Write the name as navigation and bottom. And then click on finish. Let's do the prerequisite first. So go to colors.xml. Press Ctrl+D to duplicate the line. Write the color name as green and hex code as 4FA853. And done. Now go to strings.xml. First change the app name to Amazon. Now we require two strings to toggle between open and close of navigation drawer. So let me quickly write both the strings. We will be using both the string value in main activity. And it's done. Next, move to themes.xml. Make sure the parent is set to no action bar because we will be using our custom toolbar for which action bar is not required. Uncomment this line and write color primary as green. Then duplicate the line and write color primary variant also as green. Again duplicate the line and write Android status bar color. And done. Now go to build.gradle app. Here we will write build features. And inside that I'll write view binding as true. Then click on sync now. And done. Now close all the tabs. So we need to add 11 vector assets and one image, okay? So let me copy paste the image. Then right click on drawable, new, and then vector asset. Now select home icon. Similarly, you have to add all the other vector assets as well. Let me quickly do it. And done. These are all the names of icon. You can search them accordingly and add them in the drawable folder. Now we are done with all the prerequisite. As we are creating two menus, that is bottom navigation menu and navigation drawer menu, hence we will require a menu directory with its respective menus. So right click on resource folder, then new, and then Android resource directory, and keep the resource type as menu as well. Then click OK. Right click on menu directory, then new, then menu resource file. Write the file name as bottom_menu. And then click OK. First, we will create a bottom navigation. So as you saw, it will have 4 items and one floating action button in the middle. So the first item is home. We will have three attributes as ID, title, and icon. Same way we will create it for profile as well. Then we will leave a space for floating action button and keep enabled as true, which means it is clickable. Now copy the previous item and paste it. We will use it for creating cart item. And then the same way we will do it for menu item as well. And that's it. Bottom menu is created. Now, next let's create navigation drawer. Write the file name as nav_menu and then click OK. So we will have 6 items under navigation drawer. Add necessary attributes. Tools show in will create a user interface of navigation drawer. All the 6 items will be inside a group whose checkable behavior is single, which means it will act as a radio button that only one at a time can be clicked. Okay? Inside the group, we will create our first item as prime with ID, icon, and title. Similarly, we will create other items as well. So let me quickly create them and it's done. So we have prime, fashion, electronics, fresh, beauty, and furniture. So navigation drawer items are ready and now it's time to create navigation drawer header. So right click on layout folder, then new and then layout resource file. Write the file name as nav_header and keep the root element as linear layout and then click OK. Here keep the height as 176 dp, then gravity as top, padding as 16 dp, then background as green, and then theme as app compare dark. I'll be using one image in the header, but you can create a profile image with a text view as per your requirement. So I'll keep the layout gravity as center and add a respective header image. And that's it. Now it's time to assemble everything in activity main.xml. So instead of constraint layout, we will be using drawer layout as our parent, okay? Because we are creating navigation drawer, hence we will require drawer layout. Then give it an ID as drawer layout. And then remove the text view because we won't need it, okay? Instead, create a relative layout with height and width as match parent. Then inside the relative layout, we will be creating a custom toolbar. I'll keep the background as green and give it an elevation as 4 dp and then give the theme accordingly. Then we will create a frame layout with height and width as match parent and ID as fragment container. So basically we will be using fragments, hence we will require frame layout. Here the bottom navigation will be as it is in the same place only. The fragments will keep replacing each other in that particular frame layout. Okay. Now we are creating a floating effect bottom navigation. For that we require bottom app bar. And to create that bottom app bar we will require coordinator layout. So keep the width and height as match parent. Now inside the coordinator layout we will create a bottom app bar. Keep the layout gravity as bottom and background tint as green. As I said, we will be using bottom app bar to give that floating effect to floating action button. So we will add fab cradle margin as 10 dp and fab cradle rounded corner radius as 50 dp. Then inside the bottom app bar, we will create a bottom navigation view. Give it width and height as wrap content and ID as bottom underscore navigation. Then set the label visibility mode as labeled and add the respective menu that we created before. As we are using bottom app bar color, so we will keep the background here as transparent. Then we will add the floating action button outside the bottom app bar. Give it a background tint as green and add icon. Then anchor or attach it with bottom app bar. Increase the icon size to 40 dp and give it an ID as fab. And that's it. Lastly, create navigation drawer outside the relative layout, okay? Give the ID as navigation underscore drawer. Then keep the layout gravity as start. Now give icon color as green. Also the text color as green. Lastly, add the header in the header layout. And add its respective menu which we created before, okay? And that's it. Of course, it's not going to be visible here, but we will see it at the runtime. Now close all the tabs. So we need to create 7 fragments for each item. So 4 fragments will be for bottom navigation and navigation drawer will have 6 items in it. So 3 will be fragments and 3 will be toast, okay? So right click on package, then new, then fragment and choose blank fragment. Name it as home fragment and then click on finish. Similarly, we will be creating other fragments as well. To save your time, I have created them already. So you can see the name and create them accordingly, okay? Let me quickly remove all the unnecessary code from all the fragments. And done. Also, we will redesign all the fragments, giving them their respective names. So here we will write a text as home and give it a gravity as center and text color as green. Similarly, let me quickly do it for other fragments as well. And done. Now close all the tabs. Finally, let's go to main activity. As we are using navigation drawer, hence we will require to implement on navigation item selected listener. So write navigation view dot on navigation item selected listener. It shows an error to implement methods, which we will do it in a while, okay? Before that, let me quickly add all the necessary variables. So write private late init where fragment manager as fragment manager, because obviously we are going to deal with fragments, hence we will require fragment manager. Then private late init where binding as activity main binding, and that's it. Now let's set up binding. So initialize binding as activity main binding dot inflate as layout inflator. Then set content view as binding dot root. And that's it. Now let's implement the members. So select on navigation item selected and click OK. See, the error is gone, and we also have our method which we will do later. For now, we will implement another method. So write override fun, that is function, on back pressed. So this method handles the back button with navigation drawer. So let me quickly write it. And done. See, if says if the navigation drawer is open and we click on the back button, then the navigation drawer will be closed. Else, if the drawer is already closed and then when we press the back button, then it should exit the app. Got it? Now let's move to our next method, that is open fragment method. Let me quickly write it. And done. So instead of writing the same code again and again, we will reuse this method. So we will use fragment transaction and fragment manager that will help to replace the fragments in the fragment container which is our frame layout, right? In fragment transaction, we have several methods like adding the fragments, removing the fragments, or replacing the fragment, out of which I have used replace fragment method. Then lastly, committed means finalize the changes. Now back to our on navigation item selected method. This is where we will assign all the items to their respective fragments. So first, let me create a when that will act as a switch case. So item.item ID that will take the IDs of the item that are present in the navigation drawer. So if you remember, we have given the IDs to all the items present in nav_menu XML file, right? So if the item ID is nav prime, that is our first item in the navigation drawer, then we will use open fragment method, which will open the prime fragment. Similarly, we will do it for other item IDs as well. And then we have prime fragment, fashion fragment, and electronics fragment. As I previously said, we will be redirecting 3 items to fragment and 3 items to toast. So let me quickly create a toast for each item. And done. Now we have fresh, beauty, and furniture. Also, after selecting the particular item, the navigation drawer should close automatically. Hence, drawer layout dot close drawer and lastly return true. Now come inside the onCreate method. Here we don't have action bar, right? So we will set our custom toolbar as our action bar using set support action bar method. Now we will use action bar drawer toggle where we will set the first parameter as this, which means main activity. Then second parameter as drawer layout itself, which means our entire activity main. The next parameter we will set it as toolbar that will act as our action bar. And lastly, we will add both the string value which we created at the start, right? Finally, we will add drawer listener as the toggle which we just created. And synchronize the state of it. Then we will set navigation item selected listener as this. So if you remember, we have implemented on navigation item selected listener at the top. So basically we are setting it on navigation drawer. And we are done with all the navigation drawer code. Now let's move to bottom navigation code. As we are using a transparent background in bottom navigation, hence we have to set background as null. Then we need to set on item selected listener on bottom navigation, just like the way we did for navigation drawer. So I'll write binding dot bottom navigation dot set on item selected listener. Then item as when. Now again the logic will be same, that we will get the item dot it, and if the item ID is bottom home, then it will open the home fragment. Simple, right? Similarly, let me quickly write for other item ID as well. And done. See, if the user will click on bottom profile, then it will open profile fragment. And same goes for cart and menu as well. Lastly, return true. Then we will also add our opening fragment. So when you open the app, the very first fragment should be home fragment. Got it? So to do that, initialize fragment manager as support fragment manager and open fragment as home fragment. Okay? Lastly, we will set on click listener on floating action button. So let me quickly write it. And done. If you want, you can open a bottom sheet dialog or maybe open a new fragment. It's totally up to you. But for now, I have created a simple toast that says text as categories. And that's it. We are done with the coding. Now let's run the app. It looks perfect. As I previously said, the opening fragment will be our home fragment. Then we have profile, floating action button toast, then cart, and then lastly menu. All of them are working perfectly. Now let's see the navigation drawer. I'll click on Prime and see Prime fragment is opened. Let me try other items as well. And they are also working perfectly fine. Now I'll click on Fresh and see there is a toast. Then back to home fragment. As you saw, navigation drawer and bottom navigation, both of them are in the same place. Only fragments are replacing each other. Got it? So yeah, that is it for the video. If you are new to this channel, please consider subscribing to my channel and I'll see you in the next video.